This bathroom needs its door updated. The original door is a flush, hollow core builder's special door from the 80s, and it's showing its age. I'm going to replace it with a solid core 6-panel pre-hung door. I wanted something that had more style, was heavier for noise reduction, and I wanted something that was affordable. This new door isn't a true 6-panel solid wood door. It has molded MDF panels and a solid core. While I don't know what the core is made out of, the edges of the door does have strips of wood. Real 6-panel doors are nicer, but since I'm planning on painting the door, I don't think the added cost would be worth it. It also might be an advantage for a painted door not to have seams that could crack the paint. The frame for the door is made out of HDF, high density fiberboard. Since this is a heavy door, it might sound like having the frame made out of HDF is a bad thing. Although in reality it doesn't really matter, since we are going to be using long screws that are going to go into the studs that's behind the frame. When I was installing this door frame, I made a mistake. I barely had enough space to install the frame and should have trimmed a little bit off the end. That would have made the adjustments needed when installing it easier. To install this frame, I first started out by squaring up the jamb side and shimming as necessary. Then I secure the jamb side to the studs and hang the door and adjust the rest of the door frame before securing it to the studs. It's a good idea to drill pilot holes in the door frame for the mounting screws and to secure the frame outside of the hinge locations. You can use screws or finish nails to secure the frame to the studs. I use screws, and the screw heads can be filled and painted over, making them disappear. When attaching the hinges, it's best to use long screws that will screw into the studs. You can get by with at least one long screw per hinge. It's also good to note that this door has 3 hinges instead of 2 due to its weight. Now that I got the frame installed, it's time to install the casing. I'm going to be using fluted and rosette trim. This is the style that is in the rest of the house, and I think it looks pretty good. I'm using a finish nailer to secure the trim to the door frame and to the studs. The trim on the outside of the door splintered, so I filled it with Kwikset, and I sanded it to match. Then I caulked the edges with paintable caulk. This door is pre-primed, but it needs to be painted and needs to be painted all over, including the top and bottom. I painted it with a small roller and a brush, and it took a while to paint the whole door in 2 coats of paint. The paint I used is a door and trim paint, and I went with the standard white color. Then I painted the frame and casing in 2 coats of paint. It's a good idea to remove the masking tape after painting and before the paint dries. Otherwise, you could end up peeling some of the paint when removing the tape. Now it's time to install the door handle. The design of this handle is supposed to swoop down. Depending on whether it's mounted on a left or right swinging door, depends on which side you attach the 2 different handles. When attaching the plates to the door and door frame, it's best to drill pilot holes. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a nice one and take it easy.